Greetings and good day to all the wonderful people that see this. So real quick, I want to get into why I said the other day that diamonds can have blood on them and most likely are a product of theft. Well, they're definitely related to theft. Absolutely. And the story of diamonds, in a way, is kind of or related to the story of America. And it goes back, it goes back to the Dutch. It goes back to the Dutch settling in South Africa. So I don't know, in the 1600s they were already settling in South Africa, and the English started coming in. They started controlling the port cities. That's where they felt the money was, and their oppression pushed the Dutch up north, away from the port cities. And they found diamonds. They found a lot of diamonds. They found so many diamonds they could just have handfuls of diamonds. And this guy named Cecil Rhodes, at 17 years old, went in there. And the rumor is, and logic would say, that he was funded by a very substantial donor, probably the Rothschild banking family, which really grew to prominence on the English continent and Europe and the world in general during the Napoleonic Wars, when they faked the Battle of Waterloo defeat of England and their allied forces and dropped the economy down, and then they went up, bought up all the stock market. So history, because the super rich own all the books, they control basic history. History just says that this dude Cecil Rhodes, just like some home flipper, was able to purchase mines or whatever, areas where there were diamonds when people hit hard times, and he just used the rest of the diamonds to buy more diamond mines when guys hit hard times. Back in the day, it used to be hard to mine diamonds, but in South Africa that was flipped on its head. They used to be precious, and really though, like a professional can't tell the difference when they look at a gemstone between a diamond and a cubic zirconia. There's basically no freaking difference. It takes a machine to tell the difference. Not only that, diamonds can be created in a lab. But besides that, going back to it, he was able to buy up all these mines. The Dutch then found massive amounts of gold, which first was, just a couple percentage of the world market. I think it hit up to 30% of the world market. This time, unlike the diamonds, it was, by the time they tried to get in on it, the Dutch people had too much wealth, were buying arms. They couldn't do what they did with the diamond mines and just buy this gold. So instead, the British came in and practiced a scorched earth policy. They burnt the crops. They took the women and children, put them into concentration camps, shipped the guys off to freaking other islands that were under British control. Just really horrific war crimes. This was when Winston Churchill was in the regular military, as opposed to, first head of the Navy, Admiral of the Navy, and then, head of the British Empire. And he's just a piece of POS war criminal that bombed cities filled with women and children at night during World War II instead of military targets. But going back to South Africa. So Britain ended up conquering the Orange Free State and Slovenia. I forget the other name of the Boer state. The Boer was the word Boer means farmer in both Afrikaans and Dutch. That's what the people were called, because British came like 150 years later. With the Boers, with the Dutch descended people, there was basically unity, or not unity, but they lived in peace, the blacks and the whites of Dutch descent. The British turned that on their head, attacked the Zulus violently, and that's when the Gatling gun finally was created and really mowed them down. Before that, the Zulus were fairly effective at attacking the British. After that, they just were completely decimated. Cecil Rhodes, who named Rhodesia, which later became Zimbabwe, POS, probably a Rothschild emissary, started a company called Debeers. Debeers Diamonds. You guys may have heard of it. They control the vast majority of the diamond market. That company didn't only buy the mines in South Africa. They went around the world buying as many mines as they can and making contracts with the rest. And remember, by this time, diamonds were no longer precious. They needed a way to sell all these diamonds. So they got, these people are connected. They got Hollywood to start showing proposals to people. Like, this is how you show your love and propose to a woman. It's with a diamond. There were a whole bunch of different ethnicities that made up America. We didn't all think we need diamonds on the ring. I mean, that was something reserved for the ultra wealthy. So anyways, they marketed it in several different ways. People picked up on it. When they had large diamonds, they talked about the bigger the diamond, the more you love her. Because of the contracts they had made with other diamond mines, and Russia came across a whole bunch of little diamonds, they decided to make the forever ring and be like, after you already fell in love with your wife, you get her the forever ring with all these little diamonds to reaffirm your commitment to her. And then, all of us good sheeple went off and bought little diamond infused rings. Damn, I missed the light. So Debeers, which controls the diamond market. Diamonds aren't precious. Gold is precious. Gold is a resource that is used in electronics. There's real applications for it. Water is precious. Like Libya had thousands of years of water, and of course they got smashed. And gold was involved in that because he wanted to create the African gold dinar, which takes away the control of the central bank, which is probably tied to the old banking families. Our central bank, it's one of the few countries that didn't have a central bank. I mean, it's all tied together. So I'm not even talking about blood diamonds, which is also tied to just what happened in Africa generally. They give weapons to both sides, pay one side to attack the other. Everyone dies, and then there's nobody on the land to say it's their land, and now the resources, rare earth materials or whatever else, can be extracted from those lands. And that's the type of stuff, the cobalt and stuff that goes into our cell phones. Same sort of scenario, same sort of people. 6 million people have died in the Congo as a result of that. Well, anyways, that's a brief, I know I didn't do a full circle, but that's a brief explanation why you shouldn't buy a diamond. It's going to bad people. Not only that, it just shows how much you're brainwashed. Because again, diamonds are not precious. They are not any more beautiful than any other, or than other stones. A professional jeweler can't tell the difference by looking at it. So there you go. If you want to, and the people that appraise them just double the actual value. So they say, oh yes, this diamond is worth $3,500. In reality, it's worth half that, whatever, $1,750. And that's the most you're going to get for it if you sell it. Most you'll get is probably half of what you paid for it, more or less. Unless you go to Costco. Better deals at Costco. But still, you're going to lose money. Regardless. Gold is real. Silver's real. Platinum is real. They're all precious. They can't just be made in a laboratory like a diamond can. And they aren't necessarily owned by some giant conglomeration or controlled by some giant country. That goes back to Cecil Rhodes, this piece of shit, that he was piece of shit racist. He was an empire builder, Anglo-Saxon imperialist, piece of shit, bitch, likely Rothschild emissary. All in all, bad guy. Still, the company exists. That company that was founded by a 17-year-old that just flipped diamond mines somehow and just got all the diamond mines of the world. Anyways, all the best. Take care. Oh, real quick, something I left out. So when they had all these diamond mines under their control, they artificially limited the supply of diamonds. Just like how that ugly ass Mercedes truck, you need to have a waiting list. It's not because all these people want to buy it and they can't make them fast enough. It's because if they made as many as they can, you would realize that hardly anybody wants them. They're outdated fucking ego mobiles that just eat gas like a mofo, and you shouldn't buy one. Same thing with diamonds. They're no longer precious. There's so many of them. They're very easy to obtain in a natural environment, but because you have the same piece of shit vulture capitalists behind them that basically control the world, they limit the supply so not everyone can have them, make them seem scarce, keep the price up, and they still control a substantial amount of that market. Who knows really how much, because all they do does not end up in the history books. All they do to secure their wealth and power does not end up in the history books. These are sick, freak motherfuckers. So anyways, yeah, have a good one. Oh, real quick, something I left out. So when they had all these diamond mines under their control, they artificially limited the supply of diamonds. Just like how that ugly ass Mercedes truck, you need to have a waiting list. It's not because all these people want to buy it and they can't make them fast enough. It's because if they made as many as they can, you would realize that hardly anybody wants them. They're outdated fucking ego mobiles that just eat gas like a mofo, and you shouldn't buy one. Same thing with diamonds. They're no longer precious. There's so many of them. They're very easy to obtain in a natural environment, but because you have the same piece of shit vulture capitalists behind them that basically control the world, they limit the supply so not everyone can have them, make them seem scarce, keep the price up, and they still control a substantial amount of that market. Who knows really how much, because all they do does not end up in the history books. All they do to secure their wealth and power does not end up in the history books. These are sick, freak motherfuckers. So anyways, yeah, have a good one.